Dear Strange, my name is Nicholas Kadinsky. My name is fictitious, of course, but my last name is real. I am the child of immigrants from the USSR. My family left for the States in the 60s of the last century. You're probably wondering why I'm writing this to you. I'm sorry, I just didn't know how to start. At first I thought I would write something like, I have such a story that you will light up. Well, not literally, of course. In general, something like that, yes. But actually, I do have a story that you might be interested in. My friend recommended your channel to me. First, I watched some of your videos in English, and then I liked it in Russian. Honestly, you have a talent for finding information. Of course, I've known for a long time that our government is hiding information about aliens, but so much so, it takes you by the soul. I was especially uncomfortable with your last video, where there was a recording from the DVR. To be honest, I don't even want to go outside anymore. After all, who knows, maybe the Squillings are among us. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. Of course, I am not writing to you to shout praises. More precisely this too, so that you know for sure that everything is not in vain, that you are doing a truly important job of uncovering the truth. But this is not my main purpose of this letter. Actually, I want to share something personal with you. You know I've been in love for a year now, or maybe even possessed somewhere. I do not presume to judge my emotional state. And this is the story that I want to share with you. Actually, that's what prompted me to write to you. And my love began with a simple trip. Believe it or not, I was driving my old Ford Crown Victoria back then. In the letter you can see the attached photo of my car. She's cool, it's just a pity that she'll have to change soon. Well, I was driving from Plymouth to Lowell. My once dearly beloved wife, Alyssa, is buried there. We met when we were still in high school, and after graduation we got married. We lived with her for 15 long years. Can you believe it? So, I can't either. Everything was fine with us. Exactly until COVID's disease took her away from me in 2019. Since then, I've been alone. I tried to get to know someone, but everything was unsuccessful. Until I met her. Anyway, on the way to Lowell, I stopped at a gas station at the entrance to the city. And as I've been doing for the last few years, I managed to buy 10 beautiful bright scarlet roses from old Jennifer. I remember we had a dialogue then. It seems he was like this.
What are you going to visit your late wife again?
Jennifer asked me. Her wardrobe has rarely changed in recent years. Or maybe she just liked to wear the same thing. I didn't ask her. And you're back, I see, in your favorite pink Panama hat. The sun is not shining so much today. From time to time, I tease this good-natured flower seller again.
It's now because it's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And in 2 more hours, it will be scorching like in the Sahara Desert. But how do you know about it, my dear Nicholas?
She returned her smile to me.
You didn't think it was time to let her go, did you? You're almost 40 years old, so it's not long to spend old age alone.
I can't meet anyone yet, Jen. They're all too empty. They don't have the fire in their eyes that my beautiful Alyssa had. The key word is was.
Go to a local bar, pick up some local, and then, you see, something will spin between you.
Let's see, January, I'm tired of these stuffy and smoky bars. I don't think I can find love in the whole universe anymore.
That's it. Don't give up on yourself.
And then she hit me on the head with a bath broom, which she also sold. Look at that. He's already dropped his hands, I see, she said, clicking her tongue. Okay, Jennifer. How much do I owe you? 9, isn't it?
A tenner. A penalty for low self-esteem and little self-confidence.
Well, fair. Keep your cherished $10. Thank you for the flowers. I'm sure if my Alyssa were alive, she would have liked them just like that.
I'm sure of it, Nick.
Jennifer replied, smiling sadly at the same time. I took the flowers then, got into my car, and drove on. I drove to Lowell and turned into the local cemetery. My beloved had no relatives. She was an orphan. Therefore, I decided to bury her right there in this city where we rested on our winter vacation 5 years ago. Because of this, every year in the month of April, I fill up a full tank of my car, take my favorite Snickers chocolate bars with me and hit the road. We can say that this turned out to be a kind of such a nice tradition, albeit with a touch of sadness. I spent about an hour and a half at the cemetery then. I just sat leaning against the tombstone of my beautiful wife and told her about all the news for the year, and about myself and about life and about politics. You could say that for all these 5 years she has been such a silent companion to me, who will just listen. Although, of course, sometimes I really miss her grumbling. After that, I went to the Element Lexington Hotel. I didn't have many things, but I loved sleeping there. And besides, their bar always served delicious pancakes with maple syrup and blackberry ice cream in the evenings. And I, being a noble sweet tooth, could not refuse such a delicacy. I remember I was checking out the bar patrons back then, and my gaze caught on a girl with emerald-colored hair. She was wearing blue jeans, and she was wearing a red plaid shirt on top. She was sitting at the bar and carefully reading the labels on the bottles of alcohol. Well, apparently she has such fun, I thought then. And after a while, this strange-looking girl turned to me, gave the bottle to the bartender, came up to me. "Young man, is something bothering you?" she asked me. "Or are you following me?" "Oh, no, not at all." I held my hands out in front of me as a sign of apology. "I was just interested that you read something on the alcohol bottles. It's rare to see anyone doing this." "That's it. Yes, you're right. I'm actually quite a curious person. I'm interested in everything. I've been in this city recently, and I am studying everything in detail." "What exactly are you studying?" I asked this beautiful stranger with interest. "Yes, that's literally it. People, local animals, architecture. So I got to alcohol. However, I haven't tried it yet. And no one can think about it," I exclaimed feelingly. "He can ruin your life." "Is it true? Well, I'll follow your advice. Are you waiting for someone or the place is vacant, my lady. Have a seat. I'll be glad to have your company." She sat down, and she looked into my eyes very carefully, and I'm in hers. Her eyes were very unusual. It is their color. The left one was brown, the right one was red. It's a fascinating sight, I want to tell you, and the look itself. At that time, I had the feeling that she had looked into my very soul. "You have heterochromia, don't you?" I asked her to remove this awkward silence between us. "What is it? What is it?" she asked in surprise. "Well, it's when the eyes are different colors." "Ah, that's what confuses you. It's innate. We Scouts always have those eyes. They allow us to observe this world in a much wider range." "Oh, so you also serve in the Army? How cool!" I exclaimed in surprise then. "Well, you could say that." She smiled at me disarmingly. And it seems that it was then that I finally disappeared. "What's your name, dear lady?" I decided to get to know her even better. "Orion." "It looks like the name of a constellation," I smiled back at her. "And my name is Nicholas. Glad to meet you." "You're right, Nicholas. I was named after the constellation Orion. Are you a Scout too?" "No, not at all. I've never served in the Army. As it is, I'm just a school teacher. I teach history and English literature." "How interesting. I've always been interested in the history of the Earth. No, of course, I've read books too. But I've not yet been able to talk live with someone who knows this kind of useful information," she said admiringly. If I had been a little more attentive to her words and behavior, I would have immediately suspected something was wrong, strange. But you as a man must understand me. This was a truly extraterrestrial beauty girl. Yes, even her name could say a lot. Orion, a Scout, huh? We sat there all evening and talked. She listened to me very attentively and asked me questions. And I was like a 15-year-old boy on my first date. It was warm and cozy inside. And it was very captivating that Orion was really interested in the historical facts that I was telling. And after a while, it's time to say goodbye. I paid for our dinner with her then. She also liked the pancakes I ordered for myself. Therefore, I did not deny myself the pleasure of courting this pleasant person. We left the bar and walked a little way up the road to the square. It was dark outside, but the street lights illuminated the road. I remember she told me then, "Nicholas, you are a very pleasant companion. What brings you so far?" And I want to say something like, "I was looking for you, but I changed my mind." Instead, I answered her. I was visiting my late wife, Alyssa. At the entrance to the city, an elderly woman, who has been selling flowers to me for the 5th year, advised me to go to a bar and meet someone. Who would have thought that I would meet you? Really, I haven't met such interesting men for a long time either. In the line of duty, there is no time for such trifles. But tell me, do you really not know who I really am? No. But I can say with confidence that you are the most beautiful woman I've ever met in my life. Even perhaps more beautiful. I stopped and fell silent. "Now go on, Nicholas. It's all right," and she took my hand. Her hands are very cold. But even then I didn't pay much attention to it. I'm generally such a person, a little distracted. I rarely observe the details of the world around me. Somehow, after Alyssa's death, everything went dark. "Thank you for this wonderful evening, Nicholas. I had a great time." and finally took a break from my routine, which to some extent I was sick of, and after these words, she let go of my hand. And despite the fear of spoiling everything, I took her hands in mine and kissed her on the forehead. And then I realized that the girl has something more than a factor of extraterrestrial beauty. Whether you believe me or not, strange, it's up to you. But I heard her voice in my head. She told me then,
Usually, when other Earthmen do that, I kill them. Without fear and conscience, which in general, I do not possess. But I will not condemn you to this fate, Nicholas. Because literally in one earthly evening, you have become much closer to me than it might seem at first glance. Don't look for me, please. It's dangerous for us to see each other now. And she pulled away from me then.
Orion, I took one step back, then to another one. I looked around to see if anyone had seen us on the street. And then she raised a strange-looking device at me. It looked like an iron rod, the size of a teacher's school pointer. A moment, just a moment, for which I blinked after her flash of light and she was gone. Disappeared. I don't even know how she did it. And I remained standing in the same place. My heart was pounding inside. I felt happy and disappointed at the same time. For the first time in a long time, I really wanted to spend a little more time with a girl. In this case, with Orion. Fortunately or unfortunately, I didn't find it. No one in the city had seen her or knew her. She didn't stop anywhere. Strange, please. If you have any information about her, please let me know. Its notable features are as follows. The left eye is brown, and the right one is red. She is about 1.70 to 75 tall. Her hair is the color of an emerald, I remind you, and she is incredibly beautiful. If you see her, you'll immediately understand who I'm talking about. It's been a year since we met, and I'm going to Lowell tomorrow. I'll buy flowers, and I'll go to the bar of that hotel again, hoping that I'll meet her. I guess I'm setting her up a lot by talking about her, but I do not know how else I can contact her. And maybe she's watching you too, and she'll immediately understand who I am and where we can see each other. All the best to you, dear Strange. I hope that you will help me. With sincere respect, Nicholas Kadinsky. Strange is with you. If you think that this is not proof of the existence of aliens, then you are right. There is much more evidence, and on our channel, we will reveal all the secrets and evidence of their presence. I decided to show you this letter unchanged. After all, this is another proof that humans and extraterrestrial beings can live in peace and even love each other. Subscribe to the channel and send me your stories related to aliens by email. You will find contacts in the About the Channel section. If I haven't answered you, then I'm still checking on you, because the special services of all countries have announced a hunt for me. But together we will force the authorities of all countries to disclose all the information they have. After all, people should know the truth.